For today's park review, we're talking about a seaside park. This is Belmont Park, located right on the Pacific Ocean, Southern California, about 5 to 10 minutes away from SeaWorld San Diego. Now, as you can tell, this video was completely filmed at night. This was the only chance I got to go and visit this park. If not too many people are familiar with it, they're mainly known for their Giant Dipper wooden roller coasters, the only coaster there. But they do have some other rides. But it very much does have your feel of your typical boardwalk park in that they have your fried food, some arcades, and of course you can walk to the beach. So just getting into it, yes, of course you can just walk right into this park. You pay per ride, and actually Giant Dipper was the only ride that I rode here. Some of the other rides that they have here, some of these flats are classic attractions, so I didn't really feel the need to ride some of them, but they did have some rides that were a little crazy, a little different. So it was kind of cool seeing how you have your classic carousel, and then they bring in some thrilling rides as well. And one thing I thought was super cool, this is regarding the Giant Dipper, when you walk in and you want to go and purchase your ride tickets, they have this cool almost roller coaster museum dedicated to the Giant Dipper. This coaster is a real classic. It's been around for ages. They have a model of it in there, some cool history. So if you're a coaster junkie, that is something that I think you'll find super interesting. Regarding the actual park, much like most boardwalk parks, the attractions will be pretty close to each other because they're pretty tight on space, but it didn't really feel cramped. I mean, obviously the park runs right up against like a street, so they're clearly limited on space. It also means they can't add new attractions every single year. But I thought that their attractions were very justified. They had some rides for the young ones. They had your thrilling rides for those that like going upside down. They had some flat rides that'll flip you upside down. And then, of course, they have the one roller coaster. And then they also have a ropes course and a rock wall. And if you don't like riding anything because you're boring, they have some arcade games. And if you like food, they have a variety of stuff. I saw some ice cream, your typical like burgers. And one thing I thought was super awesome was that as you're walking along the park, it smelled nice. It smelled like a nice boardwalk park. But I will note, I thought it was interesting how it's not directly located on like an actual boardwalk. I mean, it's definitely a boardwalk park, but there isn't a boardwalk. I mean, it's cement. And actually, the parking lot is separating the park from the ocean. So yes, it's definitely like a seaside park, but I thought it was interesting because normally the parking lot is on the other side so that the actual park is closer to the ocean, but that's not the case with Belmont Park. But overall, I found that I enjoyed myself. I just popped in here for like an hour or two after a day at SeaWorld San Diego. And because they're so close to each other, if you're going there and you only have a short amount of time, I would say after SeaWorld, because they tend to close a bit earlier than some parks, pop in at Belmont Park. Totally. Even if you're only there to ride Giant Dipper, just walk around and enjoy the atmosphere. That's what I did. When I was there, it was like 11 o'clock at night, so it wasn't really crowded. I'm sure during some points it might get crowded. And if that's the case and you want to ride everything, then you might be spending a good 2 to 3 hours there. But if you don't want to spend too much time, hey, that's totally doable because you just pay for what you want to ride. It's a good system that you just do what you want when you want to do it. So I think in conclusion, no, it's not my favorite boardwalk park. If we're talking about like California boardwalk parks, I'd put the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk over this. But in general, I thought it was solid. They had a nice variety of attractions, and it didn't feel smushed like some boardwalk parks. So those are just some of my thoughts about Belmont Park. If you've been here, let me know what you think of it. And of course, if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them in the comment section below. So make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe.